In fact, many professionals in general spend countless hours creating social media content, engaging on social media in the hopes that content, that those efforts are going to turn into the conversations that will produce the results that they want. And if you've been in that spot, you know that it can be stressful and very time consuming. So today we're going to talk very specifically about what you can do to not have to hope anymore, to know specifically an answer to how do I actually know what to be posting on social media that will actually produce the results. Today's episode is going to be all about that. Stay with us, folks. This episode is going to teach you what to do on social media to get results. It's going to be awesome. Stay with us. The big question is this: how do those of us in the real estate industry with crazy amounts of ambition, how do we think bigger than the building of our own empires? How do we simultaneously seek success and significance, income and impact? My name is Justin Stoddard, and this is the Think Bigger Real Estate Show. All right, welcome back, my friends. I'm excited to be with you again today. Today's guest, her name is Kat Rich. She's out of Florida, and she has actually run a very successful property management company in Dubai. We want to hear that story. And then also for a 6-agent team that sold over 200 properties a year. She was a lead generation specialist, and she learned a thing or two about what to do on social media that actually works. And today we're going to dig into her understanding around that. Kat Rich, my friend, thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been great getting to know you and listening to how our businesses have overlapped. So I'm really excited to be here to chat with you today.
Well, on that note, I think you and I believe something in common. In fact, I think we believe a lot in common, but one of those things is that relationships matter. In a day and age when artificial intelligence seems to be taking all the headlines and people are looking to replace what they do with either virtual assistants and or with artificial intelligence, I think you and I both agree that there are certain parts of a relationship that continue to matter in a big way, and that we have to know what those things are, and we have to know how to position ourselves online as being a relational person if we actually want to have relationships that matter and that work from a business standpoint. Would you agree with that?
100%. 100%. Yeah, I mean, relationships are, really it's how this business works. It's what we are built on. Real estate agents is all about the relationship. I mean, you're business person as well as a coach to the people that you're working with. And I think you just said it. Yeah. I mean, in this crazy world of AI is the buzzword, where is the real organic people? Like, how do the people keep fitting into this? And you're right. It's exactly that, relationships.
Yeah, that's, I think if you don't have a relationship, then people will automatically go looking for leads, or they'll automatically go looking for just providers. They'll be looking for who can do it the fastest and for the least. But if you have a relationship of trust and they know that not only are you someone they can trust, but they're also somebody who can do it better, then all of a sudden it takes you out of the commodity space and puts you in a space where people are willing to wait for you and pay for you because they know that both of those are worth it. So really quick, you got to tell us about Dubai. Like, tell us what took you to Dubai. I'm curious.
So first of all, the first question everybody asks was, are you in the military? And no, I am not in the military. It was a decision because I grew up in Richmond, Virginia, and we didn't really travel. I wanted to see more of the world, and I had done a study abroad during my university year, so I knew the glory, the coolness of overseas. I became a music teacher right out of college. I was a music teacher for about 10 years, and I just had this itch to travel. I wanted to get out and see the world. I thought there must be more to life than just what I can see, just this culture. So I did a little bit of traveling around the US, but really I was ready to get out. So the first job I actually took was over in Damascus, Syria, where I was hired to start a music department. And things happened. The school was only open a year or so. And then I got another job in Dubai. Same music teacher, It was in Dubai that I really discovered the power of real estate and this different world over there. It's such a different world in the sense that there were so many owners of the properties who were not living in the country. And one of the cool things that I did, what one of the that a lot of the investor friends that I had were doing is that we were subletting. So basically, we would rent out a house, like a 5-bedroom house, and then sublet each of the rooms by month because so many people were living, so many owners were overseas that they owned property in Dubai and they just wanted one check for the year
Mm.
to pay for the rent. So it wasn't being paid month on month, it was paid yearly, which most people didn't have that kind of money to, people who were visiting Dubai or in Dubai temporarily didn't have that kind of money to show up and, pay 60,000 for an apartment. So I got together with some friends and that was pretty much the model that we did. So after my first property, I didn't know what else to do because my capital was gone while I waited for the returns. I hired a business coach and he's like, "Well, that thing that you're doing for your own property, just do it for others as well. Just manage it. They'll give you the money. You go find the property and then manage the tenants in it." And so this is kind of how that all came to be. I
Mm.
left teaching and started this property management business in Dubai.
That's a crazy story, and that's what got your appetite wet around real estate. You're like, "This is a really interesting business." Talk to
Yeah.
us about social media. Again, that's really where you've created some fame. Obviously, you have a number of courses and coaching clients
Mhm.
all over the place who subscribe to your model. And again, I love your model because it's about organic first, right? There's
Yes.
endless amounts of people that are kind of lead junkies that are chasing leads and trying to get people to warm up to them. And really, what you're doing is different, right? Where you're really creating a loyal following from people that you already know
Mhm.
and turning that into business. Would you agree with that? That kind of properly
Yes,
personify
exactly.
how you?
We definitely want to build on the relationship rather than be chasing. We want to organically grow. So the whole social media came about because I mean, you mentioned earlier, I was on this real estate team and our thing was cold calling. And that was really where I cut my teeth on lead generation. I was making 250 cold calls a day and talking to 20 to 40 to 50 people a day, having these conversations, setting appointments. And it was hard work. I'm not going to lie, it was hard work doing that. And so at one point I'm starting to get all of these people and I just think, isn't there a better way? There must be a better way to get in touch with these people rather than just calling them because I was only calling, well, I was calling 3 people at a time, but I was dialing individuals rather than reaching out to the masses. I started looking into how to get the message out further. I was looking into internet marketing. I was like, okay, how do I run Google ads? How do I do this and that? And so I was also being asked to coach other agents who were joining the team and then from other real estate teams as well. So I'm going through all this training, teaching them how to call on the phone, how to set appointments, how to track numbers, how to like figure out their percentages. Is this a good list or a bad list? Are we getting enough answer percentage? And at that point, I was starting, my production was starting to slow down because I'm coaching so much and I'm not making as many calls. I created a course online because I thought I got to get back to production. I have to keep setting appointments. So I created a couple of modules where I basically recorded because I was saying the same thing. And I was like, okay, I got this course. Now, anybody who I coach, I want them to go through this course. Well, it hadn't been tested. So I started going on to Facebook. I was going into Facebook groups looking for people who were making posts saying that they were struggling. When they said they were struggling, I'd reach out to them and say, "Hey, I just looking for like some beta testers for this course I created." And through that I started getting in touch with more people and Facebook groups became the thing. It was really the best place for meeting people who were struggling, getting them into my world, building that relationship with them. And then because they saw from not knowing what to do to get leads, learning how to speak to the leads, how to speak to people, bring them through that sales process. They were building their relationship as well as setting themselves up as the leader, as the authority. They were turning a lot of those clients or a lot of those prospects into clients. So, this is really where the birth of this whole thing came from. And it all came from creating these organic relationships online on Facebook.
It's interesting, the statistics, the amount of agents that will purchase leads to call are about 20%. The percentage of agents that will do it consistently over time are about 2%. And you look at those numbers and you realize, like, why is that, right? If actually calling people will produce a result, why does not everybody do it? Well, it's a tough game, right? And I don't know of anybody that would argue that it doesn't work. I also don't know if we were honest with ourselves to say, are there casualties along the way, right? In the form of people who are deeply inconvenienced by the fact that you called them and interrupted them. I think anybody that does that would say, yeah, I make some friends, but I make some enemies, right?
Mm.
And I think most people spin out of that because they realize, like, I don't want to make people mad all day. Now, I get it that when you find the 2 or 3% who say, I'm in, come over, list my house, it's rewarding and it compensates for that group of people that really didn't appreciate it or you couldn't reach, whatever. However, if there were another way to get the same result and actually spend your time not creating a kind of a wake of casualties, right? Like, and potentially even damaging your reputation as being very transactional. And again, this is no disrespect for those who do this. I've got some very close friends who are extremely successful at doing it,
Yeah.
the pick up the phone and call way, right? It's very successful. So this is just one guy's perspective, that if that doesn't resonate with you, and for some it does, and they can do it and it does it, and that's cool. That's great. I commend you. I'm not that guy, right? Maybe I don't have as thick of skin as you do. I don't know. Call it whatever you want. But I do know that there's a group of people that are like me and probably like you, Kat, that are like, yeah, I could do that. And I've even had success doing that, which I have as well. But what if there were another way where I didn't have to have kind of be stepping over the dead bodies of people who were deeply irritated the fact that I interrupted them, and I was the 4th person today to interrupt them, or 14th, right? So your model speaks to me because it's a way to reach the people in a way that they want to be reached, potentially, as opposed to a way that's deeply inconveniencing 97 of the people to get to the 3 who aren't inconvenienced.
Mm-hmm.
So talk us through, if that's the premise on, again, kind of shared beliefs, right?
Mm-hmm.
As to why you kind of went this route. What are some of the biggest mistakes that agents and or professionals in general make when it comes to organic social media?
Good question. What are some of the mistakes that people make? So I guess when we talk about what it looks like, the pathway from even start to creating organic strategy, it really comes to where are you? What is the messaging? Who is it that you're looking for? Because it always starts with the who. And that biggest mistake that agents make is that they think they want to help everybody, anybody, and everybody with a house. And while that may be fine for referrals and while that may be fine for people who are coming in, when you are creating messaging to talk to a specific person, to get a specific type of person who has a condo or a waterfront property or an equestrian property to reach out to you, you need to have specific messaging. And so this is really the science, the art of marketing. And the marketing part comes with being able to find the specific problems that your person is experiencing. And if you don't have a who, if your who is just anybody and everybody, you don't have any specific problems. So, for instance, I live in a waterfront property, and if we were going to sell, one of the things that we'd be concerned with is this. We have a roof over top of our boat lift, and I think it's unpermitted. So if we were to sell it, we need to disclose that. But we would want an agent who wouldn't try to get us to take it off or anything like that. So we would want to keep it, but we want somebody with who knows what to do. The seawall is also a concern. So things like this is why it's so important to target a person or a waterfront property owner or an equestrian property owner. And so when you can target these types of things, you can really get your message out. So that's the biggest mistake that agents make is not choosing somebody and just being like, I help everybody and everybody.
Mm. It's when you said that, the thought that came to mind is that if you don't identify somebody that you're talking to, you're really not talking to anybody. And if you're not talking to anybody, like we know the numbers, if in real estate you don't actually talk to anybody, you will not get any clients. And you could actually be putting words out, but if you're not talking to somebody, then you're talking to nobody. And even if your lips are moving and sounds are coming out, you're still not talking to anybody, right?
Right. Right. And so, this is the thing that a lot of agents are super hesitant to even move forward with because they're like, "Oh, I don't want to limit myself. I don't want to put myself in the niche jail." And niching is when you choose your person. Like, okay, I'm only going to work with condos, or I'm just going to work in this farm area. But what it comes down to is who is your who, and I say the who is really three parts. It's somebody who, as the W, is the wounded, or like they have a worry that they're worried that they're looking for. The and they have to be hungry, which is the H. They have to be hungry and looking for a solution. And the O is the owner. They have to own a property in order for you to help them. So, what are the three things that you can do to find somebody who's got that worry? Could you say messaging such as, sell your house without having to take off your unpermitted boat ceiling, your boat roof? Um, Sell your house and we'll take care of the seawall. Something like that. That would be like messaging that would speak to my current situation. And like those are the things that we want to make sure are attached to the who. So if you can think of those three things, like hungry for a solution, like I really want to sell, but this, right? And then the this is the thing that you're going to be marketing to.
So going back to our original or our topic, just to kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
tie this together, is that organic social media. So when you're creating content, the fool's game, right, or the ineffective method is to try and talk to everybody. Like
Right.
I sell homes, right, looking for buyers and sellers or investors, and it's like again that would be an example of not talking to anybody. And what you're saying is actually identify very specific people who are was it wounded or have a worry,
Yep.
right,
Yep.
that are hungry,
Yeah.
right, have a motivation, and what was the last one? The O?
Owner. They have to own
Owner. Yeah,
the property.
property. Okay, great. So that should be a great framework. Every time you go to create social media, like, am I talking to someone who is wounded or has a worry, is hungry, actually motivated?
Yeah.
I like it. I
Yeah.
like it a lot. Okay, good. So that's a great start.
Yeah.
Keep
So
going.
as far as organic marketing, so like this is just the very first part. So there are really three parts to move the cogs, the dials that create the catapult
Mhm.
combination. So the three dials are the attraction. So it's the attraction marketing, and that is like,
Okay.
hey, we're going to attract these people. Once you attract them, it's all about the interaction. So that's the I, and the aim dial of your catapult. So you're going to aim your catapult. So it's attract them and then you interact with them. Now, this is the chat sequence, the DMs, it could be the email nurturing. It's all of this stuff until they're actually ready, right? Because not everybody is ready to sell their house the day that you talk to them. There's a process that they have to go through. They might be 30 days out, 60 days out. And so there's this time period where you keep in touch with them. And this is the nurture or the interact. Okay, so that's the I of the dial, the I dial. The last dial is when they are ready to take action. You've given them the information they need to take the next step. You move them to meet. And then when you move them to meet, we've got either a quick 15-minute discovery call, or you can actually have the listing appointment, buyer's consult, but it's the consultation call where you would actually result in signing them as a client. So this is the third dial of it. So when you put those three together, this is a marketing model, by the way, that can adapt to not only social media, but you could do it for sending out letters. You could do it for any medium, but we do it on social media, number one, because people reach out to you. You don't have to reach out to them. It's free. Like back in the past, it used to be marketing cost money and saved you time, and prospecting cost you time but saved you money. But now with social media, it's no money and less time to reach more people. But it does
Yeah.
cost a little bit of time to figure out what your messaging is and actually get it out there.
So once you create that messaging, then it becomes just simply implementation, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
And who do you, Kat, once you train people in this methodology, how and I'm sure it's all contingent upon their goals, right? It's all contingent upon what is it that they're actually trying to accomplish. But how many are there so many certain amount of conversations that you recommend people having, right? Because you're putting out content and then you're obviously creating conversations from that.
Mhm.
Um, what does that look like in an ideal situation for someone to, let's say, sell 2 to 4 homes a month? All right, what does that look like? Any
So it
concept
all
around that?
obviously, it comes down to your conversion rates between,
Mhm.
you know, I call it a dial, even though we're messaging people, it's like a dial to contact, contact to
Mhm.
appointment set to appointment
Yeah.
held. And so I still keep the same numbers, similar numbers as though as I was cold calling. So it'd be like 1 out of every 20 people you talk to will turn into an appointment and somebody that you could have a consult with. And, just part of the strategy. I mean, I actually tell people just go out and do consults for free. Like practice on your friends and family, get their reviews, get them to write good things about you, Google reviews, Facebook, or just have them send you a text, screenshot the text and put it out there just to show from an outside perspective that, you've done this. So the
Yeah.
better you get at your conversions, showing the social proof, the higher your conversion rates will be, the fewer people you will need to talk to.
I love it.
Yeah.
So when you take a look at agents that have had the most success with this, right? What does their day look like? Are they and how frequently are they posting? And then is there some sort of formula that you would encourage them to follow? What does that look like,
Yeah.
and on which mediums?
So even though social media is many different platforms, each one has its own language. So I talk about Facebook. I teach on Facebook. However, you can take these concepts and apply them to TikTok, to Instagram, to YouTube. I mean, and again, all of these have their own algorithms, so you have to play by their rules when you go to their platform. On Facebook, you don't need to post every day. Contrary to popular belief, you don't need to post every day. It really comes down to um, the types of posts that you make. So we want to show content that is both professional, which I call that external content, and then you've got internal content, which is all about you and your personal life and your friends, your family. What are you doing in your life? And so you wanna have just kind of, like a mix between, right? So you don't have at least 2/3 are professional content. So problem-solving posts basically say, "Hey, do you have this problem? Here are some solutions to fix it." You
Mhm.
wanna talk about, um, stories that you've helped other people overcome this problem or this obstacle. You want to show you wanna also have conversation starters, and that actually extends the reach of your audience, your Facebook audience. So, when you're able to extend the reach and then give posts that get highly engaged because they're really good and a lot of people are wondering about this topic, you get even more reach. And then then you put your CTA out, "Hey, if this was helpful, comment down below, share it to somebody who you think this could help." And then this is how you get your content out. But as we know, relationships are with a person and not with a business. So you have to show that you are congruent with the things that you're doing. So this is where you actually block off your family time and say, look, I'm out with my family. You actually show, hey, look, I'm eating healthy. I am at this restaurant, or I'm meal prepping, or I'm out exercising. And so you show all of these different aspects of you, and you
Mhm.
show that you are also a professional and can deliver service.
I love it. People really, yeah, it's hard to build a relationship with somebody. And you mentioned this, that's not just a business, right? People don't create relationships with brands, they create it with people. And it's hard to do that if you don't ever share anything personal about your situation, right? If it's always about business, 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 then you recognize that it's hard to connect with you because people can't relate to a business. They can relate to a human in a business.
Right.
Kat, how do people learn more about you? How do they find, I know you do a unique 5-day challenge that helps people to get more leads from Facebook, right? More opportunities and conversations with Facebook. Talk to us about when your next one is.
Yeah, so every month I'm running a 5-day challenge, and you will get some leads at the end of this. You will have clients. It's just a 5-day challenge, and we go through the system. I walk you through. I give you specific actionable things that you can do. It's at fbleadchallenge.com. You can go there and register, and just keep an eye on it. This is the end of May 2023. So if you're listening to this later on, just go there and check when the next date is. For right now, June 19th is the next date. June 19th, 2023.
I love it, Kat. I appreciate that. All right. One final question for you, which everybody who comes across, the Think Bigger Real Estate stage answers this question, which is, you are a big thinker. What is it that Kat does to continue to be a big thinker? What does that look like for you?
For me, I think the always keeping my eye on what will future Kat wish that this Kat had done. Always keeping ahead of, in 20 years, what will I wish I had done now to make an impact, to move things forward? Right, so it's a very higher level vision that, I'm doing exercise now, not because I love it today, but because my future self will appreciate. I eat healthy now, so the future self. Yeah, I'm building a business, relationships now. I work hard now, so my future self will benefit from this.
That's a powerful question. What will future insert your name wish that present insert your name would have done, right? I think that's a great way to live your life. Kat, we appreciate what you've shared with us today. And for those that are looking, again, for more help on social media, how to put down the phone and really connect with people organically through social media, Kat has some real solutions for us. So Kat, appreciate your time on this topic, your expertise on this topic. Appreciate what you do and what you bring. And I look forward to our continued friendship. And in the meantime, everybody that's listening, my final request is this, and it is go think bigger. Thanks for helping us do that today, Kat.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Justin. It means a lot.
My pleasure. Be honest, hearing good ideas is not enough. You have to apply them in order to get the results desired. If you found value in today's episode, then you're really going to love the community of big thinkers and high achievers that we are building in order to help you to apply the principles taught today. If you're not yet a member of Think Bigger Real Estate on Facebook, go sign up now.